everyone to everyone's favorite podcast about Gemini movies. I'm your host, Alice Wato, and my co-host.
Ludovico!
Wow.
I could have gone longer.
Well, we have wrestling to represent the Ludovico.
My longest Ludovico ever.
Yeah, iconic.
Yeah, we're talking about two interesting movies, I would say, today.
Yeah.
Dystopic movies.
We're gonna talk about some movies. Before we do that, we have show and tell. Yeah.
Yay!
So, I reread a manga that I really like this month. It's called, let me see if I don't bother the Japanese. Ikokoniki, or Diary in a Foreign Country, I think it's called in English. It's about there's a girl who her parents die in a car accident, so Roland has to take care of her. Very simple. It's a very simple done like manga. That's like a human drama story. That's really well done. It has like a lot of elements of dealing with death and desperation, but also a lot of like stuff I like in manga aimed at like older women, which is like a lot of metaphorism. So it's not just human drama. It's using like visual metaphors to like convey a thing.
Okay.
To give an example, let me quickly get like a panel I really like. Where's the panel I really like?
Well, 1:45.
There's something.
Cut dead air. Yeah, I need to cut the dead air while you're looking for the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Can't have them like just listening to you Google shit.
Yeah, to give an example, there's like a panel like this. It goes into like very metaphoric moments. Where it goes like personal memories and moments. There's a lot of things about sadness, recalling elements of like using a feeling spirit to like recall as like a desert. It's very cool. I like it a lot. It's getting an anime adaptation.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Very nice. I like it a lot. Ludo, what's your thing?
I was at the first concert of Barking Bitches on Friday, which is the all-girl band I'm friends with from my hometown. And it was a Flinta-only event, which is basically a German term for everybody except cis men. So it was just like a lot of cool people, very good vibes. The concert was like a full success. And yeah, it was like in a squat that has like a concert room back down. There was food before. It was really a nice evening. I partied all night long. We did karaoke for like 3 hours at the end.
Yeah. I'm bet that you had fun and you did not die. Thankfully.
Yeah, I'm glad I did not die, which that would be what?
That would be bad. We would have to replace you with AI, I don't know.
Yeah, with who? Yeah, make an AI model of my voice. I'm sure my ghost isn't gonna haunt you or anything, you know?
That's the hit movie, Podcast Ghost.
That would actually be a good movie. Like a guy getting haunted for making like an AI model of somebody who's dead. I'm into it. We should sell this.
We should sell this to Hollywood. But yeah, I'm glad you had fun. I don't know, you had a favorite moment in the party or something?
A favorite moment. One of the women started playing Take 5 on the piano just randomly in the evening.
Nice, very nice.
And it was like, holy shit, she got it. She got those tunes.
Yeah, very nice. Now it's time to. We had fun, but now it's time to go to the time machine to go to the most distant year of our time, the year 2009 and 2010. Wow.
Actually, I think it's 2008 and 2010.
2008 and 2010, late 2000s and early 2010s.
The era of Xbox Live.
Yeah, it's got Halo. It's got Finish the Fight. It's got.
Yeah, it's Assassin's Creed.
It's got Call of Duty War Crimes. War Crime Harvest.
That's my favorite one.
It's all of them, though. They just go on.
Yeah, it's kind of all of them. That's true. They're all about doing war crimes.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah.
yeah, part of this actually does fall back to that because one of the movies is very monochrome, as we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
But there was also another thing. It was like the era of the Molgoth.
Yeah.
The emos and the Molgoths were really big at the time, and that has also like context to one of these movies.
You
right?
had like your Invader Zims, your Hot Topics,
Yeah.
your fake gods, not like the real gods that dressed like the 80s. This is a real discuss in the god community. Gatekeeping is
Yeah. This was real as hell. But also, I'm gonna like just reveal a personal story here. I had a girlfriend at the time that she was really into she was like obsessed with Sweeney Todd, some other thing I don't remember, and the musical episode of Scrubs.
Yo.
She was like deeply emotionally affected by that episode.
Wow, real god for Scrubs moment. Wow.
And I just think like if she knew about Repo, the genetic opera, she also would have been a giant Repo fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like the cultural, like pop culture era we're talking about this time.
Yeah, aesthetics wise, it's kind of was blurred together, honestly. The main difference is like by late 2010s, by the late 2000s, you already start seeing like there's still a lot of meanness, but the meanness gets scaled back from like early 2000s. There's a more focus on like seriousness as an aesthetic.
Yeah, realism. People like to talk about realism in that time.
Yeah, but specifically like because there's a difference in like realism and like something being like low key or like not fantastical. But specifically, it's just a refusal to have like any metaphor and just like very straightforward stuff that's like, well, military man murders 1,000,000 people, iconic.
Yeah, absolutely, because with one of these movies, you can really tell that people weren't like really looking for the themes or like the messaging, and they just wanted a movie that's just surface.
I think
stuff.
there was also like a lot of cultural fatigue by the end of the 2010s about like a lot of the mainstream stuff because it was like so in your face. With those.
Yeah, we also had superhero movies about to become like an entire decade of cultural ennui.
Yeah, like Ludo said, also there's like a lot of interest in like there's a lot of property like hot topic like Margot stuff aesthetics, which goes into that. But yeah, in general, like this is the record. Like if you listen to this podcast, you fucking have this decade, of course, unless you're a ghost. Hello, ghost listeners. But yeah. So like you're familiar with the tropes of the aesthetics. I don't think we need to like. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I think no 14-year-olds are listening to this podcast, which would be like the lowest age, the highest age where you like were not alive when these movies came out.
What the 8-year-olds, Ludo?
Please don't listen to this if you're a minor, please.
Please.
Especially since we already know what's next month's episode, so please don't.
Please don't. But yeah, the aesthetics are very similar to like whatever you consume too, even if you're like 16, 15, whatever.
You can also kind of make a gender split between the two movies we're talking about.
Yeah.
One of them is very like blurry lensed, colorful pictures of like people, attractive people singing. Mm-hmm. And the other is like a very monochrome, grimdark, but humorous story of like dudes being dudes.
Yeah, dudes being dudes. This is when we're going to be sexist about women.
This is before they invented media that was both for men and women,
Fucked up. Anyway, let's go to the main thing. Okay, quick.
We didn't actually say the movie names actually yet.
Just quick thing, cut me out of this. But when we're gonna talk about the guy, because we actually have to.
I think we gotta do it in cast and acting.
Okay,
when we read off his name, I'm gonna do a segment. I'm gonna do a cut, and then
Okay, let
I'm
me
gonna
just
mention it, and
repeat.
then we're gonna link the
Okay,
shit.
let me just repeat this then. Okay, so since the aesthetics are very familiar with, everyone knows this, let's just go to the main cast. We have two movies. We have Repo the Genetic Opera and Repo Man. Not to be confused with the 80s Repo Man, a different movie.
Yes. Uh, that was for the recording,
Yeah, that was for the recording.
um, yeah, I guess we're just gonna start with cast and acting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Y'all gonna figure out which ones of these we like more and what aspects we liked
Yeah, okay.
on the way.
You also gonna have an extra surprise for one of these. Wait, anyway, let's go.
Yay! Okay, so we're gonna start with Repo, the Genetic Opera. The cast is Alexa Penavega, which, by the way, is an amazing last name, as Sheila Wallace, Paul Sorvino as Rotti Largo, Anthony Head as Nathan, the Repo Man, Sarah Brightman as Blind Mag, Paris Hilton, Amber Sweet, Bill Moseley, Luigi Largo. God. We're gonna have to talk about the Italian stuff at some point.
Yeah.
Kevin Ogre Ogeville, aka the guy from Snarky Puppy,
Yeah.
as Pavey Largo, Terence Zdunich as Grave Robber. I think this is where I do the abuser drop, right?
Yeah, let's drop some facts. So,
yeah, let's drop some facts. This is also the writer of the musical.
One of the writers, there's several writers to be clear, but the main writer.
Yeah, there's two writers. One of them probably is just like maybe normal, who knows? But this guy has some. There's some allegations that sound pretty serious and real, so we're gonna link that.
Specifically,
please look up the stuff that was.
We are gonna link both the allegations blog written by the person who did the allegations, plus a YouTube video, specifically a YouTube video linked to the part that talks about the works this guy has done, including Repo, but specifically the part where they talk about the allegations, because the person that did the video did resource that lines up with what the allegations are. Either way, bad guy.
Bad man.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have Sarah Power as Marnie. So that's the main cast, I would say. So, what did you think of the acting in this, and the cast?
It's so weird. So Repo is like, this is very weird because one of these movies is like a full-on musical, one of these movies is not a musical. This is a full-on musical, which means there's very few, like there's 5 lines that are not like sing dialogue.
Yeah.
So I have to like judge this as a musical, and the musical selection is weird. It feels extremely off, which is baffling because a lot of these people are musical professionals. Like the best way I can describe it is like it's using musical professionals that are trained to like sing in a certain way to sing in a way that's just like they're not teased at. They're not like it's not the accent they're familiar with. Which is a thing you need to understand is like just because you're very good at singing doesn't mean you can sing like always. You're not gonna get like operatic person to sing a new metal song. That's never gonna happen. Oh, yeah, that happens in this movie and it's fucking sad.
Yeah, Paul Sorvino is like the trained opera guy, right? Or like one of the people.
Yeah.
And when he does opera singing, it sounds great. But when he's like doing like a weird middle between opera and rock singing, it sounds like the biggest shit you have ever heard.
Yeah, like the people in this are very like talented to the issues. It's going for certain direction, certain musical style that I don't have an issue with that music style because I like Margot shit. I like the type of like 2000s like emo, new metal, etc. The issue is like this is not just what these people are trained at. So it just sounds very awkward. Because it's not the type of music that they're trained. Plus the lyric writing is horrible.
We're gonna get into that in the music segment.
So it just comes off as barely like just awkward. There's a couple of sections I like some of the songs, like some of the performances, but in general, the songs that work are when you can very much tell the performers who are very much into the song themselves, and that's just like following the line. That's just like singing the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually have a pretty positive thing on the cast and acting. Like, I like a lot of these actors, you know.
Yep.
I like Bill Moseley. Uh, I think Sorvino is pretty cool as an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I also like the guy who's the Repo Man, who's apparently in Buffy.
Yeah.
But what I really liked about the acting is that it just goes like really hammy at points, you know? It's so over the
Oh
top.
yeah, I like that a lot. I do like that it goes so hammy that that it's kind of bad, but in an enjoyable way, because it's so sewing the scenery, you know, just going extremely like goofy.
Yeah.
It's
So yeah, I think it's a mixed bag.
it's very much a mixed bag. I feel like.
Yeah, I can totally get why you would get into this as a teenager.
Yeah.
You could get into this. Just stating that.
Yeah, yeah. It's one of those things like I get. It's weird because I like things that have like a similar rhythm to it or like similar things. I think it's mostly has to do with the writing, also going to like the theme direction. Because I like plenty of shit that sounds like like this, even including with like some of the people that were casted this. You know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do we want to go to Repo Man?
Yeah. Let's go to the Weepo Man.
Okay. Repo Man has Jude Law as Remy. By the way, almost all these people have no last name as a character.
Sure.
They just have a first name. That's interesting, right? So Jude Law is Remy, Forrest Whitaker is Jake, Alice Braga is Beth, Lee Schreiber, Frank, Karis Van Houten, Carol, Chandler Canterbury, Peter, Joe Pingua, Ray, Lisa Lapira, Alva, Tiffany Espenson, Little Alva, Yvette Nicole Brown. Okay, I just have to point this out. This is a black actress. Do you know what her character's name is?
What's her name? God, there is.
Rhodesia.
Holy shit! I not realized that.
Yeah.
I love you, Weepo Man. Maybe you're sometimes too easy.
Maybe that was the wrong choice. And also we have RZA as T-Bone. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you have to say?
It's very interesting because we'll talk about this, but this movie is like a very 2010s movie. Really, like it's very monochrome. It's very like the aesthetics are very subdued, but everyone's doing like a very like that comic that we delivers. Like Zulaw is just like a fucked up guy that doesn't just really care that he's killing people for like profit.
Yeah.
He just extremely doesn't care. It's like his delivery is like very subdued to the point where up to the point where he has to like go fuck off, fuck off, fuck off, in a way that reminds me of like British dark comedies of the time, like stuff like that.
Yeah, he's like a more murdery version of his character in Trainspotting.
Yeah, yeah.
At points.
Which is interesting. So like it has like that kind of like that 2000s comedic delivery to it in like a much more subdued thing, which it works. But I really fucking love Forrest Whitaker's like Waller. Because he's just going at fucking... He's just being like a mother guy and going, I'm gonna stab you, I'm gonna stab you. There's a fucking scene where he's just like... There's a flashback to them like being in Iraq. And he's just basically going, I'm gonna kill you all. And it's just so fucking great. It's going so fucking ham and just going like... Playing this guy as like this fucking mother guy that doesn't give a shit. He's murdering people in the daylight. It's really...
Yeah, but then in the like latter half, they both have like their emotional moments where we like... learn that they still care about certain things.
Yeah. It's interesting because it's like the delivery is like very that comedy, very like, I'm gonna murder you, I'm gonna not care about the shit. But then there's moments of more honesty and emotionality that I find really interesting. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a very good combination about like much more obvious like that comedy bits and like more emotionality, which you don't just see in a lot of movies. I read like it's very weird. I guess we'll talk about this much more later. But I read a lot of reviews that were like, "Oh, this movie has no sense of humor to it. It's so serious." But like, how?
Yeah, it's full of jokes. They're just kind of dark jokes.
Yes, but still, like performances are so like goofy and purpose. Like once you see like Forrest Whitaker just stab a guy while a birthday party happens, you know, it's not meant to be serious. It's a dark comedy. Like, just it's meant to be funny, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna reference Brazil a lot, and like just like Brazil, it's like a dystopic comedy.
Yeah,
You're like making fun of how fucked up shit is.
I really like the main actress Alice Baga. Um, who's like a performance. I think she does a good job as like the like second lady, like leading lady of the movie. Um, adding like a nice balance to the last Kato. But
Yeah, she has good chemistry with Jude Law, I think.
yeah, a very good chemistry. Also, my favorite moment in the movie is the scene with Risa. He's in
Yeah,
it for like very few times as like a guy who has to kill her. But he does this very very low back performance of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get killed. Let me just play a song that I think is like probably his best one in the movie, to be honest. Which is not saying a lot,
yeah, it's so
but yeah,
good. I heard there was an entire subplot with that character actually that got partially cut out.
that would be interesting.
Yeah, it's sad. Apparently, there's a full hour that got cut out of this movie.
So like a 3 hour movie, that would be wild.
Yeah, and they didn't even do a reshoot, so they just had a lot of movie planned.
That's
And it's
but
interesting.
yeah, the wizard scene is really good. There's a lot of bit part. Like I like who's the fucking boss guy?
I don't remember his name. I think it was either Leaf Schreiber or like Joe Pingua. I think is the really nasty
Yeah,
like business boss
but
guy.
this guy is so good because he flip flop between just being like this like he's just like this a boss guy that's like, yeah, just sell me basically tie your life in that to get new organs and then just once that goes away you have to kill you and just like he's playing your typical like boss like evil boss cat but like in this setting is just incredibly funny. The last scene in the movie
Yeah,
with him is incredibly funny as well.
yeah. No, he's good in
But
this.
yeah, I
That's
think
true.
the acting is just everyone's just like doing it. It's a very interesting combination of like a very Malcolm word and just very comedic goofy acting. I like a lot. You know, no,
Yeah.
you know. Okay, cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
Repo the Genetic Opera plot.
Um, you see, you've seen the Disney Channel movie, right, Luther?
You ever heard of Sin City? Those
No,
cool
Luther.
comic parts.
It's like a girl just wants to like go up without her parent, her dad, who's a single dad annoying her. It's literally a Disney movie plot with murder.
My notes here are badly structured mess that only really starts coming together in the
It's
second
weird because
half.
it's not experimental by any fucking means. And
No.
like, it's very straightforward on purpose. Like, but it's so like messy because it has like very slow pacing. It's like stuff.
Yeah, in the first half, there's just like things happen, but you don't really. The plot doesn't really
It's
advance.
like I guess like the best way I can describe it is the first half is a lot of setting up of characters, but you could
Yeah.
condense a lot of those setting up characters to like one song. Um, this is a bit. Listen, I am somebody that has worked in a theater before. I'm somebody that likes theater, musical theater, etc. etc. This is a very. I haven't seen the original play, of course, but as a musical version of the play, this is very structured because there's a lot of songs that could have just been cut out.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
condensed. That was just like if in a lot of plays, a lot of songs like in like traditional plays, a lot of songs like this will be cut into like one song that would just be like cut into various parts, like for
Yeah.
example, like the Les Miserables musical has a lot of songs that are songs about various characters, but they will just switch parts. So the part of the song will go for one character to the other, character to the character. That's a way so you can focus a song on various characters that having to dedicate the song to those characters. That's like
Yeah, instead we get like 30-second songs, then another song starts.
that's why you don't want to do that. This is literally a musical theater thing, or like a theater thing. You want
Yeah.
because you want to focus because theater has to be short, or even in one song because of how it's material condensed. You have to condense a lot of things, so you can have to condense a lot of moments, play stage moments into a thing, and this just goes song one, song two, song three, song five. It makes no actual sense as a it just pads out the thing. So what happens?
There's a weird rhythm to it that doesn't really make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. To give an example, like there was we watched that we watched like a Hungarian animated movie yesterday, and that movie has like a lot of small songs, but those small songs are like 20-second snippets that add to another song, so it builds like, you know, into something.
Yeah, it's also happening in some surreal dreamscape, you know? It's not trying to do world building at the same time because they are trying to build a world. And I'm sorry, if you're invested in this world and like you know the lore, and I saw people online when I read the articles who know the lore, there's a wiki for this. You're learning the lore of your fucking fridge. You're learning the lore of an empty cardboard box.
There's nothing to the law
There's nothing.
because like I said, it's so weird because it's like, um, it's very slow. It's most introductions. It's most just introductions. There's like a quick moment where like the girl reveals against her other quickly. So see we move. So see like goes to the outside world. But that's like 30 minutes in, and then only like what 50 minutes in we got actually the reveal song with her other, which is one of the better songs I'd
Yeah,
say. But like
we don't
it's like
see the Repo Man actually do Repo Man shit and that he is the Repo Man until like half the movie is over.
it's so weird. It's a really fucking baffling thing, honestly, because the plot
It's bizarre.
it's very badly structured. Like it, yeah. It's just like
I can say the last third is pretty good structured. Like they get the climax right. Actually.
yeah. The climax is like where it kind of pops off. Where I kind of like it because it goes pop 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 pop. I just had it. Yeah, I just wish it had that energy for like the other part of the movie.
Yeah, there's one reveal after the other, and like things get very dramatic. It's good. The ending is pretty good.
Yeah. Okay. Repo Man.
Repo Man. Plots. The structure is good, but you can tell in hindsight, knowing that so much was cut, that like there's stuff missing, even though it's like a 2 hour movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
It's a very like yeah. It's a very I feel like it's very straightforward done. It's very like point A to point C, but you can feel like there's just moments of like this would have just followed up with something. This would be something else though.
Yeah, like T-Bone is a good example. He just shows up and dies. And you know there was more to that.
Yeah.
And then there's also like a lot of like character building stuff. We basically see one scene of the tank, of them doing tank shit in the war, right? And the plan was actually to have like an entire segment there of like a war flashback.
Yeah, you could feel a lot of parts that are very cut off. I think for a movie that got cut off significantly, like an hour, it's mostly very like normal, you know.
Yeah, it's coherent. You know what's happening.
Yeah, it's not always coherent. I think it does. It's like a base straightforward plot. I think what it does is just it. Like I do not think it's that Bubu scenario that fantastic, but I think it just does what it wants to do. Very solid, you know.
Yeah.
Which is good.
No, I actually like the story a lot. You know, of course we have the like twist at the end that the last fourth of the movie is just a dream he has while he's in a simulation.
Yeah.
Which is the classic Brazil twist, basically.
It's also Total Recall.
Yeah, Total Recall also does it. I mean, I'm not a hater of that thing, you know. I know it can be like a very good excuse to like do the it was all a dream thing. It's kind of bland in a thriller often, but this is more of an action movie, and I feel for an action movie, I know the director said he wanted to do not a classic climax. He wanted to do something that's not a classic action movie climax, but still have a cool action scenes.
Yeah, I feel like the thing this is very good is doing like a straightforward action movie part, but like adding much more like layered elements. So like those elements of like cyberpunk here, cyberpunk stuff. So you get like a lot of elements of like what the world is like, this format, and it adds a lot to like the little humor of it. Like them having like a mascot that's just like the organs mascot. That's very funny.
Yeah,
It's just a lot. It's a very like the word building in this for movie that got cut has a lot of elements that are just very funny. I think this is basically laying elements of like a more traditional like action movie with something that's like much more darkly comic and like much more genre piece. It really just reminds me a lot of 80s stuff, even just besides like Total Recall or Brazil or something. It has a lot of elements of
Yeah,
like,
people also mentioned like Verhoeven, Cronenberg,
yeah.
that we also noticed those connections.
Yeah, you can feel like
Um,
those like influences very well. I think it just has a very good energy to it. I really like a lot of elements to it and how it's set up.
Also, the climax is like a weird mix of like a sex scene mixed with intense gore elements while Moloko plays.
It's
So that's just that's a scene you don't get in any other movie in the world.
besides Total Porn, I don't know, but no.
No, like not in this, not framed in this way, and not with like licensed music by Moloko.
Very too. But yeah, very good stocks. I really like how the plot is. I like the structure of it. I think it's very good.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. Okay, Repo the Genetic Opera teams. Should I just read off what I have here?
Yeah, lead the teams, Ludo.
Italians are evil.
Come on.
Daddy might be bad. Slash, I might be a bad dad. That's it. There's not more to it, actually. The capitalist critique you would expect from a movie where, like, you know, there's a company repossessing organs. There's no social critique in this movie.
Uh, rebelling against your dad. Good.
It's really just an aesthetic, like the whole. It's all just aesthetic. It's all just surface. There's no real meaning besides, ooh, what if my daddy was bad? Or, ooh, am I a bad dad? I hope my daughter
It
forgives
really
me.
makes sense that this started as like one part play because
It was like a 10-minute play.
it's so empty. It's so empty,
They
Hess.
stretched it. Yeah, they stretched this shit long. Also, nobody who wrote this was Italian. And they just wrote the most generic Italian villains
I don't know.
in a setting that's not really
I
America.
don't.
So, like, you can't even say, yeah, it's because of the mafia. It's just like, why are the Italians the evil
Why
people?
does he pay times in this movie? It doesn't.
We don't even know if this is Earth.
It
But there are Italians,
it
apparently.
doesn't fit with any of the like fucking like gothic aesthetics at all. Like, of course, there's
Yeah.
historically like gothic mafia shit, but that's not it.
Yeah, it's also like some people say this is so cyberpunk, and like the cyberpunk stuff is also just surface,
So
you know?
aesthetics, you know.
Yeah. It's not that we like do interesting exploration of any of these like technologies, except maybe like Blind Meg, like her eye surgery into stuff, and how she has to like do a Faustian bargain for that. She's maybe the most interesting character in the whole story. And then she dies, of course. Yeah, it's weird, you know. Um, there's not much more to talk about. I feel like besides those teams.
It's very
Or do
weird.
you see anything else?
Um, Let me think. I guess there's like you can say like there's an element to like all of these characters are meant to have like some twistedness to them that vaguely reflects like some morality thing, but like vaguely.
Yeah, there's a whole thing from like the outside world or society. It's just twisted and evil,
Yeah,
which is like a very
it's
cynical.
just like there's a guy he murders people. There's a guy murders people. Women does bad things. Guy murders people. It's it.
Oh wow, Paris Hilton gets disfigured again, like in the other movies she's in. Whoa, this really taught me something about like vanity.
It has as much meaning as wow. What if I make a story, but get this? Superman kills people. He kills
They're
Batman.
all on painkillers. This says a lot about
It's
society.
it's so hollow, man. It's so fucking hollow. Okay, Reaper Man.
Yeah, Repo Man teams. Corpos are evil. Cops are evil. What happens to traumatized and murder hungry veterans after they come back from
Yeah,
war? Healthcare and repossession,
yeah.
manly friendships.
I really fucking love the idea of like, okay, there's just a monopoly on American healthcare. So like now to get the good healthcare, you have to go in debt. You have to basically make a pact if you go in debt to, uh, that I mean, you will get your organs repossessed by people who are literally like ex army people.
Yeah, basically Blackwater is gonna come take your
It's just
liver
like
if you default on your
it's
payments.
kind of very like a very good kind of funny take on like like the actual pipeline. It is just an American, not just an American. A lot of Western countries are like a lot of ex-military and ex-cops who just working like out of fields that are like similar. Um,
Yeah.
so like it's a very funny element of this. You can say this is vaguely cyberpunk, and its theme is vaguely besides wow
Yeah,
Japanese signs. Why?
I described it as like soft cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's not going besides like one or two Japanese signs and like some elements of that. It's much more going for like kind of just like the real world, but amped like a sci-fi aspect. Uh,
Yeah,
so
just a more fucked up version of our
yeah, it
world.
plays with the ideas of like our world, but fucked up in actually interesting ways because it's just life happens, everything people go drinking and stuff. It was just elements of like, oh, there's now just a organ repossession mascot. You have to do this, that. It's really interesting, you know. It actually does a lot of like its satire because it's not just going over the top with it. It's just taking our word and making it more absurd, but in a way that still feels believable, you know.
Yeah, like this reflects a lot of stuff that's currently happening and has happened back then.
It's genuinely interesting. So this, I'm gonna have to ask you an important question. Hold. Is this
Mhm.
movie homoerotic?
I don't think so. I think it's real, like, it's more in the bromance layer, where it's just about two dudes who are, like, platonic friendship. Deep platonic, like, childhood friendship.
Yeah, I guess like when even ignoring like the satire of it, there's a part of it about like how broken people just like broken people who have actual connections to themselves just like maintain those connections even in like the most nightmare scenarios.
Yeah.
So because like even in like this dystopia where like literally you have to like you possibly can die even with good organs because of, like that repossession of capitalism like and the people doing that is just like normal people with a lot of trauma with them and just like trying to maintain some connections after like a million trauma and like the systems we live in. It's interesting, you know.
Yeah, there's so many interesting bits, like some people only figuring out that shit is fucked up once they become afflicted by it themselves. That's something we see all the time with, like, middle class people and the like,
It's
right?
yeah, it's interesting because like Zootlaw does not question the system until he actually has to face what's happening. Um,
Yeah, until it's happening to him.
yeah, which I find very
Uh, I
interesting.
think the ending is also super cynical, but also like it's the dark beat that a lot of movies don't take. That's something that the director talks about in the interview I'm gonna link. Is uh, the people want to go to an action movie and they want to see a happy end, right? He's gonna beat the system, but like in reality, the system almost always wins, right? So this is like a reflection of he has this like dream fantasy that, by the way, it's official. He says it references Old Boy because he thinks the character has seen movies like that. So it's part of his fantasy.
Yeah, it's
So that's really
it really
smart.
reminds me of, like the Total Recall, but the thing with Total Recall is like the ending is slightly dark, but like at the end it doesn't really matter. It's
Yeah.
much more like if I got it's much more like just a commentary on like the meaningless of like everything because I don't think he's an action hero and he's not. Um, that's the Zoku Total Recall. Where this goes into much more even more bleak in terms of what it was to be.
Yeah, this is more about the thing that I think also some leftist like media analysis talks about, where like mainstream media will give you like happy endings where they defeat the system or like defeat injustice. just so you can feel better about your world. Well, that rarely happens, you know? And this movie actually has the bleak ending where the person gets tricked into thinking they're actually doing it. They're actually defeating the system when they're just like being tricked
Yeah, it's
again.
interesting. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Interesting movie. Good themes. You can think. You can then just spend a lot of time thinking about the themes of this movie. Honestly.
Yeah, which is rare for 2010s action movies, I can tell you.
Yeah.
Um, Cultural relevance, Repo the Genetic Opera.
Mod gods will keep it going. Yeah. Like.
Yeah, I think some like theater kids and like Molgoths and like people who are too much on Tumblr, they're gonna keep this stuff alive.
I mean, like, I don't think there's an issue with that. Honestly, besides like this is like a bad abuser guy. Like, it's
Yeah, if it's just a movie alone, you know, it's kind of harmless.
it's harmless. My thing is just primarily like this is just a weird thing because I think like Repo will live on, will be very popular, like because there's a lot of interest in those aesthetics and the part of reason. I don't know, like it's weird because I want to connect to it, but even not the abuser guy, it's so weird because I am so part of those aesthetics sometimes, but like it doesn't connect with me in a way that makes me like make me think about it, why it doesn't work to me and why a thing so popular that normally should work to me doesn't work, you know?
Yeah, you're not getting drawn into the world and the
Yeah,
characters.
but I think like I don't know, like this Lamar Gods and other people like make it popular. I think I think like here's the thing. Besides the abuse guy, I think there's like worse thing you can watch. I think like there's gonna be always some interesting interest on it as a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like one of those weird cult classics now that really just select few people really like, and it's like a real either you love it or you hate it or you're just confused.
Yeah.
And I'm mostly like just confused. Like I see some potential here, and I see some stuff that is really funny because it's bad. So I would have like ironic enjoyment of it on a rewatch.
Okay. Weeper Man.
Cultural relevance. Yeah, it's still relevant. You know, this stuff still
Yeah,
happens. What else can I
it's
say?
relevant socially by what it's saying. And I think like I think if you're fan of like interesting mainstream movies from like this era and like are willing to give this a chance, I think there's like people who are at least gonna like look into it too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you're like into that kind of either cyberpunk or dystopia kind of movie, and you haven't seen this one, I absolutely recommend
yeah.
it.
I'm waiting for this to be like totally reevaluated because I feel like it's gonna have its moment. Considering
I hope
considering
so.
other things that have been totally reevaluated because I genuinely do not get the like I briefly talked to earlier. I genuinely do not understand the like. This is just a God-filled dull movie that has no sense of humor. Thing, you know, it's the opposite, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cinematography?
Now this is gonna be a long one. Cinematography on both ends. Uh, Repo the Genetic Opera cinematography.
Looks like shit. They put Vaseline on everything, Ludo.
Yeah, it looks like Vaseline is on the lens all
So
the
I had
time. There's like a weird filter on it to make the sets look less
so
cheap. And the problem is it makes the movie look more cheap.
so I had to like ask Ludo when this when we were watching this and when me, Ludo, and producer Press were watching this to prepare for this. I thought this was like green screen or CGI or whatever. No, it's an actual set. They just like made the filter look makes everything look horrible.
Yeah, it makes everything look more artificial. You can kind of it's hard to tell what's in the background and what's
Like
real.
it's weird because like you can like I've seen plenty of movies that like have a like artificialized like actual sets to like do some kind of aesthetic. A lot of 2000s like live action anime adaptations from Japan and stuff like do that, and it can be like good. Do you remember like the got some like the Yatamen movie we watched with Takashi Miike like a while like
Yeah,
last year or something like 2 years ago? That's just like a similar thing. But just like
true,
but like in
true.
a way that feels like stylized and not this. With those they go over stylized to the point where like everything just looks ugly. when everything feels at fair.
A lot of shit just looks like you're in like a bad carnival ride, like one of those horror rides in an amusement park.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where, like, you can think stylized versions like this. Stylized takes have that been done before like this, but the thing is, like, they over like stylize everything, so it just looks very ugly. It looks like literally just somebody standing on a green screen. Well, like, sometimes you can go too much on the artificiality.
Yeah. Also, a bunch of it just looks like a stage play, actually.
Which is normally not an issue, but it just looks like nothing because to actually add the stage play look to it, you need to actually have like some kind of like. It needs to actually have like a style going for it because this looks
Yeah,
like a
like
stage play.
either go either go all in and make it all look like a stage play, or make it all look artificial. But like they're shifting back and forth between these really bad CGI establishing shots of the city and then back to like a stage that just looks like some Halloween store.
Yeah, so it just really looks ugly. The shooting is also like
It's all right, I
it's
would say.
alright, but there's weird blocking, not with blocking, like weird framing. Sometimes
Sometimes it's kind of weird.
it will like focus on like too much on like person's face, or like even just like look wrong. I extremely don't.
Yeah, we get a lot of like hammy close-ups in this, which is cool if you want to laugh, but I'm still unsure how much of this I should laugh about.
It's it.
Like, because there are people who think this looks cool. It looks like a joke to me.
It looks so. There's a cheapness to it that normally I wouldn't complain about, but it just looks extremely cheap. Also,
It was cheaply made, that's so it makes sense, but like, yeah, it doesn't have the charm of like AVGN production, you know.
yeah. It's barely like just barely weird. Um, the other thing is also when there's the dance choreography, and the dance choreography is just taught in a way that's just also very awkward.
Yeah, this isn't all that jazz.
Yeah,
They're not doing cool choreographies
this is not
actually a lot
the
of the time.
SpongeBob movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's no SpongeBob. Anyway, do you have anything else to say about the cinematography? We put us in that a couple.
No, I'm done with this.
We
Let's do Repo Man
do
cinematography.
you like Call of Duty? Do you like Gears of the Walrus?
Yeah, do you like when a movie is just monochrome as fuck most of the time? This is your
Do you
movie.
like?
Yeah, I would say this is the movie's biggest flaw. Like the color grading is just like grayish, like cold, which I guess makes sense in context of like this is a very cold world where people just accept that there's like weird murder guys coming to take your organs.
Yeah.
But for the eye, it becomes kind of grating after a while. There are scenes where like they're in some like fucked up buildings where the color grading actually feels appropriate, you know, for the desolation.
Yeah.
But often we're like in like very sterile environments, and it just makes shit look like a Resident Evil movie, and those also don't look too good.
It's weird. Like the cinematographer for this has done some okay work. It's Enrique Sidiak. Ecuadorian
Hmm.
cinematographer is mostly known for once 127 hours. You know the movie The Guy Gets Stalker. Actually,
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
faculty, was you watch. These
Yeah, that movie's great.
very like I don't think he's like that good of a cinematographer, but he very much knows how to use a camera. I think this is a case of like they were like aiming for like a certain thing, like probably like a studio thing. So it looks like a lot of movies like this, a lot of genre like mainstream Hollywood movies of this era have like this very monochrome look, inspired by the previous era of like like 9/11 movies, like serious movies, war video
Yeah,
games, stuff
yeah.
like that. Though this was just the era of the SS aesthetic. But it's barely like weird because the tone of the actual movie is not that serious. Not it's very goofy on purpose. Then you have a movie that's shot in a very like straight faction way that just makes things look boring.
Yeah, I think if they made like the world more fucked up looking in general, the color grading would have worked better. But it just looks like our world mostly with a gray filter.
Yeah, it's kind of the point that's just our world that you need to add an element because the script is so absurd that it just looks like you're shooting in New York or like Vancouver, whatever this sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Canada. This was shot in Canada.
Yeah, so it's just like it feels very flat. There's elements like later in like the last half where like it goes slightly like slightly harder, like the old boy.
Yeah, I think
scene.
once he's in the simulation, also there's more color.
Yeah, there's also like the old boy scene that's actually a good action scene how it's like shot and correct.
Yeah, can we talk about the one shot that is like a POV of a buzzsaw cutting a guy's throat?
It's really sick.
That's like the sickest shot I have seen in months, I think.
It's actually feels inspired by like not just old boy, like a lot of like South Korean like crime movies and action movies. You know what I'm talking about? Like the type
Yeah.
of like kind of like East Asian like action movie like from the 2000s and stuff. Like there's an element of
Yeah.
brutality, but that's just like actually where shot like action choreography.
In the director interview we were gonna link, there's actually the interviewer actually asked about the buzzsaw cut because I guess they also were like, holy shit. And so there's an entire segment where the director explains how they got the idea for the buzzsaw cut. It's cool.
It's really cool. Like it's very much one of those things where I can tell the cinematographer has some talent, where like the actor wants to do something, but it feels like part of the movie was like controlled to be like this monochrome thing, and then when it's allowed to go plot-wise a bit wilder, it can actually just do interesting stuff. The camera work.
Yeah, it's once against the studios just like interfering too much, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything else?
No, I'm good here.
Muse.
Last segment. Music, genetic opera.
It's
We already talked a bunch about the lyrics and them not being very
a
good.
lot of the lyrics are like, "I wallow in my emotion." It's like I said, it's weird because I love it. I like that fucking like. I like Queen's.
Oh, I love me a little bit of guts on the floor and shit like that.
I listen to like fucking God Doom. I like Nightwear, so it's not that
that shit is better.
it's the thing is just like it's like the thing is like it feels like the thing with CZ like God hot topic stuff in the 2000s is like you can notice when a thing has passed to it. Like you can notice the difference between like Nightwish and a band trained by like an where the main guy is like an actual trained like orchestra musician that just really likes movie soundtracks and God theater. So he's just going 100% on like his silly fantasy theater, and then just go into like bad lyric writing where like it's just doing the fucking 80s like quick detour. But what the fuck is up with like every white person like directed movie that has a like for the mainstream that has like a WAP song in it? It sounds like a fucking not white person, but like you know, like mainstream movie that's not like by actual WAP artists. Every time they have a WAP song, it's like a fucking 80s sing WAP thing.
I guess it's like, oh, the kids are into rap now. We gotta put something in there.
It's like this sounds like fucking Hamilton because it's just doing like the thing of like I was at the floor. I was at the floor meeting Miss X, like fucking like
it's like bad meatloaf.
Yeah.
It's like really bad meatloaf.
I'm just specifically talking about like the brief like the WAP song in it.
Oh yeah, they rap for a short time. Right?
Yeah, no, I was just asking what the fuck is up with like a lot of WAP songs in musicals that are not written by WAP people. Hamilton being like the big example, just sound like fucking 80s like sing WAP. Like I'm listening to like these Zazie Smith and Will Smith, and it always baffles me because hip hop doesn't sound like that even in the 2000s.
Yeah, I think they want to do like their own whitewashed version of it,
So it just sounds like I was at the store. I got some cookies. I've only listened to one WAP song and it's like the Fat Boys.
Yeah, no, it's not very good. I can't tell you anything more about it.
It's just the musical composition is just like it feels very hollow. it doesn't feel like there's actual passion behind the music, you know. So a lot of the lyric writing is also it's also overwrought in a not very interesting way, you know.
Yeah, no, they're overplaying it and they're not really into it at the same time. A lot of the actors are just doing it, you know.
Yeah, because they don't have an interest in this. Yeah, we talked so much about it. It's just we don't like the music.
Yeah, okay. Repo Man music. What can I say? It's fucking peak.
It's genuinely very cleverly used. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of good rap. There's a lot of good like electronic stuff. It's really fucking big.
Yeah, there's also like classic soul and R&B.
It's well done in the movie. Like when a song is used and dropped, it's actually well done. It's interesting. They know which parts to use of specific song. There's no, yeah.
Yeah, we also have some RZA stuff, you know. We have RZA, a Prodigy remix of a RZA track, which is sick as hell.
Yeah. This, it's just a really sick soundtrack. I actually listened to it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. No, not much to say. This is astonishingly good for like a 2010s Hollywood movie soundtrack where they were already like getting Hans Zimmer to death.
It doesn't sound like Hans Zimmer. It sounds like actually like music.
Good licensed music.
It's not bum 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 bum, bing 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 boom. You know. That's how Hans Zimmer person. That's how he speaks in real life. That's how he says responsiphobia. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
And
we're good. Watch Repo Man.
What?
Don't watch Repo the Genetic Opera, except if you're like a real
What's
freak.
Repo those man? Yeah, Repo those man. Okay. Before we end the podcast, we already have the movies picked. We're gonna watch Ludo. Your time.
You sent me the link, right? We're gonna watch Tree of Hearts, 1993, and Treesome, 1994, for LGBT History Month. Wait, it's not what it's called. It's Pride Month. And they're both movies about bisexuals having threesomes, and both feature members of the cast of Twin Peaks.
So they both have members of the Baldwin family.
Of the Baldwin family? Oh, right. I didn't know.
Yeah, they both have members of the.
What was happening with those movies? We're really gonna dig into how this happened.
So one of these Baldwin guys is like a homophobic Trump guy.
Oh, that's funny in hindsight.
We're gonna talk about it more when we do the resource. Get hyped.
Do you think when he goes to CPAC he has to like listen to jokes they make, like homophobic jokes about the movie he made where he's like bisexual?
Maybe. I don't know. Anyway.
Also, one last thing about Repo Man before we go. This is a dystopic future, but there's like 10 different brand tie-ins in that movie. So while people are like getting their organs fucked up, there's like ads for like, what is it, VW and shit.
Absolutely, for the casino. There's a casino table.
No, yeah, and we found a site that was like trying to get a Repo slot machine made, and it's still online. I don't know why this is
This doesn't have the podcast
We
promotion?
didn't find any... Yeah, but we didn't find an explanation in our research for like how did they get these brand tie-ins for like a movie that's in a dystopic future. Imagine if you watch Blade Runners and then there was like just like a Rolex ad or something.
It's so fucking weird. This movie has a bunch of ads inside the movie and also outside the movie. It was heavily marketed as a thing. It's not. It's really funny. Anyway, you can follow me at Harris of Water on Twitter, lock the account, Blue Sky, Twitch, Coolio, check my Patreon. Ludo.
And don't forget Frunkle.
What's Frunkle?
Frunkle, where you can find all your friends. I don't know. Fuck this shit. I'm on course.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.